Welcome everyone to the continuation of the Champions of the Vandal Sea series. And as our next move, after that large battle against the Romans next to Verona, we are going to make a retreat with the army of Indolf and of Godigeisel. We do not want to be stuck in Roman territory at this point, because we can now see the Romans are still hunting for us. In fact, and we just need to run away at this point, because otherwise we are not going to find much success. We can upgrade the Howling Wolves of Indolf by giving them extra axe warband, and we can also recruit 2 spies, Government and Herr Manfred. Both these have the builder trait, meaning that their horde that they used to belong to gets less building cost, I believe, and when we've settled inevitably our nation, we are going to be able to find success there as well, because when they're in the province, they give the same bonus as they do to their father horde. Well, actually, sorry, it only applies to the local province, meaning that if they survive, we'll be able to get that going. We do find that Herr Manfred's boring and weak, meaning he's got an extra chance of death by natural causes, and he's less defensive. He's uncompromising though, which makes him more zealous, but he's also not quite right. So he's a very bad spy. Meanwhile, our other spy, Government, has no traits for now, which is a good thing. And after that decisive battle, we are just going to lick our wounds for now and try to return to something that resembles our former strength. Obviously, we do need to hope that the Romans do not charge us down here with Godigeisel, because if the Romans do attack us, we are in huge trouble, as we do not have the forces to currently attack, and if we retreat we're going to take attrition, and we don't know, they might still be able to attack us. Might still be able to charge us down. And as we approach the turn of the Western Roman Empire, apologies if you heard something clang on the microphone, the Western Roman Empire does nothing in their turn, and that's a huge plus for us, because here now we can begin spying on them, and as you can see, Hilarious has taken over Flavius Stichilo's post as general. That might mean something, because who knows, the Romans might just so happen to have lost their heir, and if I remember correctly, it's their only heir. It's only available heir, I should say. That is extremely crucial for the Romans to have at this very point, because without an heir, they cannot have the same... They cannot have the family tree go on, and they'll need a different successor from their noble families. Flavius Honorius Augustus is still alive on the throne of the Romans, and now we're just going to have to wait as Godigisel's army slowly returns to its strength. The heir to the throne of the Marcomans has went and conquered Ayuvenum or Ayuvenum. Ayuvenum? I seriously don't know. And now has a bit of an he has a bit of land for himself, which would probably make him very happy. Finally, a place to rule in his name, obviously. The Romans seem very inactive. We did see a force of the Ostrogoths march down there, but it failed, retreated back to Aquileia, and now the Romans are retreating south seemingly, away from Verona and away from Mediolanum. The most important city in all of the Western Roman Empire is now undefended, and our hordes are beginning to return to normal. Someone was trying to misdirect our army over here, but failed pretty miserably. We're going to begin marching down and seeing what happened, and Hilarius' forces at Florentia, and Flavius Dicello isn't dead, but his force is nearly gone. They seem to have lost a lot of men in a prior campaign somewhere. And with this fully healthy force of Indulf, we are going to begin the attack on Augusta Vindelicarum. We're going to besiege it, and just to make sure our hordes are together, and so that Godigazel is not absolutely wrecked, we are going to encamp next to Indolf's force. We are going to be short in terms of money, but we can then move a force to Argentorum, then Vesontio, then Octoduron or Vienna, Lugdunum, and slowly attack from a different position than before. In addition to that, as you can see, the Roman armies are in tatters. This one's extremely weak. It's lesser in number. It relies on mercenaries for a lot of its damage, because most of its other units are absolute garbage. Feodorati spears are absolute. They're not absolute garbage, but they are a lot worse than the Germanic spearmen we're going to be getting in 2 turns. Now, with that siege left on to go, we are just going to await a Roman response. And Argentorum is actually taken by a nation of Romans. It's Gaul. And it's just like any of the other Western Roman and Eastern Roman states that you can bring to life. Basically just a different name, different color scheme version of the empire it rose from. So, this is going to be a small version of the Western Roman Empire. We'll now have to defeat this legion of Romans. We don't actually know where it is, but it is the huge one under Hilarius, turns out. And this small defeated legion appears just out of nowhere in Augusta Vindelicarum, which we are about to just absolutely rush into and defeat the general there. The interesting thing is that might have been just turns out it wasn't. I thought that there might have been a Palatine guard in there in the last second, but there wasn't. And now we can make an immediate march right down to Mediolanum. No one can reach it. Hilarius can, actually, but he's currently in a double time state, which increases his campaign movement range. but it is going to be a bad idea to attack us, I think. Because we are just coming off of a great victory against the Empire. But it does turn out that we cannot actually reach it because Godigeisel is in the way. That might actually be a better situation because it means a bit of replenishment. All the troops will be replenished as they should be. And we can scout out our enemies a little more to make sure that there is definitely no dangers along the way to here. To these all-important ports in the west. Narbo is currently under attack from the Swaby, who I immediately tried to get a non-aggression pact with. I even accidentally pay for that there. I see if anyone else will accept a deal. The Bastanians do. The Huns don't, but I can join their war with the Ostrogoths, who love me. And they accept. The Ostrogoths then accept a peace treaty that they will pay for. And pay for they will a lot. Meaning that actually did go in our favor there. Because now we are richer by multiple thousand from one measly battle. And that's how you do cheeky diplomacy, everyone. In truth, though, we are going to have to hope that the Romans don't reinforce Mediolanum when we make our attack next turn. Because when Mediolanum is taken or sacked, the Romans are probably going to be very annoyed and will probably send multiple legions to deal with us, which is not going to be a very good thing for us. The Romans seem to be doing an agent action against us because their turn is extremely long. I don't think that they're marching an army all the way from Ravenna to us. I don't think it can reach. The Roman Legion there just leaves us. The Marcomanns ask for a treaty, and I happily just accept it out of hand because there is no point in my eyes to go for anything else. That was a critical failure for them, and Apsagia has been destroyed. We don't know how, by who, until, yeah, it was the Grufangi. That's what it turns out to be. And we're going to now get militarized society, and defined army taxation, because it allows us to have much cheaper units. Something which will be important for a horde faction constantly bleeding money. Because when you're not in combat, you're basically doing exactly that. Bleeding money. We're now going to upgrade all of our units. And while it is going to be pretty expensive to do that, it is going to pay off in the end. And that is because these Germanic spears are so much better. They got much more armor, they're better trained, they have, I believe, a better charge bonus. All around, they've got better stats. Even if they are more expensive. We're going to move down and besiege Mediolanum. This Roman force here is not in range of the battle, but nonetheless we are going to attack them. They do have some presence on the balance bar though, and I still just auto-resolve them even though they do have that bit of power on the balance bar. But it does turn out to be a pretty costly victory. I am going to get some of the replenishment and just encamp right next to it. I'm now going to be moving over my other agent so that we can agent harass the enemy forces. And then now with the Romans down a legion, when they reach their next turn, they'll probably want to attack us. But because they're down a legion, and even if they might want revenge, we still have a advantage of better infantry, numbers, and general quality, because these two generals are actually they're exactly the same now that I look at it. Hilarious is the same as Godigeisel, and Flavius Stichulo is just as good as Indolf in strategy. Still, we're going to have 2 full stacks against 2 minor legions, and the garrison of the capital, which is weak. Currently, I wanted to see if it took money from me, but it didn't. If I was to do a action as an agent action when they were out of movement points, and luckily it doesn't. I say luckily though. Right now we learn that the generals died. Just seems to be that we weren't told that before. The Romans go down to an Ostrogoth force, and there's an offer of marriage given to us by a Swaby, and we're just going to rack it up and ask for some money in return for the ability to marry. Now, there is no chance that the Romans will try to retaliate against us though, because that small legion under Flavius Titulo was defeated by a Roman force. And right after Mediolanum, we are going for that Roman force. Although now that I say that, they have encamped, and with them encamping under the withholding taxes thing, we're going to send in troops, have Geiseric find himself a wife, and now we're going to attack Mediolanum. We're not going to attack that Roman legion. We are going to just attack the city with our army taking virtually no losses, and the capital of the Roman Empire has now been sacked. More skills for our armies, and now we can rampage across Roman territory as much as we wish. I'm going to send a force to Octoduron and attack that city. And the attack succeeds. And due to that, we gain 2,000 more gold. We are getting richer by the day. Genua is going to be the second city we attack. And just as that happens, the game freezes. But with my experience of these freezes, as they do seem to happen very often, no matter what high quality PC you are on, the game always seems to freeze for... just depends on... if you've got a better PC, it just doesn't do with that as much. Anyway, we're going to attack Genoa as our second city to sack. in this turn after the capital. We do lose a unit of warband, sadly, but in return we are getting richer by the day. We can also now agent action Hilarious' army, and with our basically endless wealth, it's really not. It really just doesn't matter if we lose a unit or two. We can just recruit it again and probably support it for many turns to come. Sadly, both variations fail in taking out Hilarious, but Hilarious might want to go after either the outcasts of Leopold or the Might of the Oak of Oagus. Talking about that, this is our goal for the campaign, if I can get it up. Or at least for both men rallying our forces. Indolf wants to continue the ways Wismar wanted to go by, and that's jump the islands. Rome, he wants to attack Ravenna, Rome, Fiorentina, go to Ravenna, and do a island jumping campaign to Carthage. Meanwhile, Godagaiser wants to start a kingdom in Aquae Sectii and move down to Tarraco. He wants to create a coastal kingdom from Tarraco all the way to Genoa. I thought I might just tell you that there is still a narrative behind it, just one that due to my poor editing skills I cannot involve. You can expect a video on the actual story of this campaign later today though, and the video is just going to explain what narrative I have thought up for the campaign. Correctly, Hilarious attacks the city of Verona. At least the people that were attacking Verona, sorry. In the Markmans, the king of the Markmans is dead, and now we need to see if the heir to the Markman throne will decide to keep his oath to our people. The misdirection of Godagaiser was a complete success, and Gunrick is able to find himself a wife, and we're instantly going to give a blessing. Geiseric finds a not as good wife, and so we're just going to reject her. We are going to just sack the city of Genoa again. And Godageisel, knowing the plan of Indolf, wants to currently just build up his power, his influence, and also build up his kingdom in southern Gaul, so that he has control over the nobles, and so that he can send Indolf off on a on an island jumping campaign to take as much land as possible. The Romans are just getting more angry with us by the day. The Huns are liking us quite a bit here, and that's a very good thing that they are liking us, because we don't want to deal with Hunnic hordes on our frontier here. Otherwise I wouldn't have tried to get as far. Over here, both of my spies are very unlikely to be able to deceive the enemy's spy. But I do try it with Guilfamond here. And that is because I do want him gone if possible. It is a critical failure. But he has been wounded, was trying to make good his escape. At least he hasn't died. If he did die, that would have been a disaster. Luckily, the Roman legion cannot hit us from their current position, so we are pretty safe. And Indolf is going to try to go down on this raiding campaign to open Narbonensis up for Godigeisel to conquer, because Indolf does realize that no matter how much he disagrees with Godigisel's plan of settling in southern Gaul, he does believe that he does need the king's support so that he can get to his campaign. The Suebi take the all-important city of Narbo, this very important port, and that's a bad thing for us because they've taken Narbo, the faction cannot, or the region of Narbonensis cannot be complete, and because it cannot be complete, we are not going to be able to have a stable homeland. We are just going to keep pushing south though, sacking multiple cities as we go. Get multiple decisive victories along the way. Indolf gets a level up. And he's going to begin making his march to Segusio. And this is where it freezes again. And we need to wait for the order to go through. Although this is a good time to now mention that we don't actually know the stretch of the domain of the Suebi. And it's also a good time to highlight how important it is that all goes well in our run to the city of Aquae Sectii. If we do go to the diplomacy map, we learn that the cities of Elusa and Narbo have fallen to the Suebi. We could do a old trick of taking to war, capturing the city, and then instantly just peacing out. They might hate us for that, but at the least we will not have to deal with a prolonged conflict we might lose. We have got lots of money as well from the raids of Mediolanum, Genua, Segusio, Vienna, Lugdunum, and Florentia. Indolf has to give up on his campaign for a little bit because, well, he can't really do anything at the moment. He is currently the general of a weakened force of vandal troops, which has well become more veteran with all the battles and campaigns they have undertaken. They are still weakened, and this is another turn where we need to pray that the Romans do not just spawn a stack from the Gallic frontier and attack us with it. Luckily they don't. Not even an agent action against us this turn. Which might just show how how badly they're doing right now. Vienna has been taken by the Suebi, and obviously that's going to be annoying because I really wanted that city. I really wanted Vienna. Our current hope is that when this army goes away, we can take both Narbo and Vienna, and probably even push on to Tarraco and have it all over with. Anyway, we are going to double team in Aquae Sectai with 2 damaged forces of Vandals, but still 2 forces nonetheless. As we realize that the growth of the Suebi is just due to this one force, the host of Rodan. And technically, if we take Vienna and Narbo off them, we will have succeeded in our goal of unifying Narbonensis, but we could go further and wipe the Suebi off of the face of the earth. Because we definitely don't want to stay a city-state like what it seems we are now. It is not fitting for someone who has defeated the Romans to live that life. Anyway, the Bastonians have asked for a defensive alliance, but I reject that because they are really far away and can drag me into some unwanted wars. The Alans, on the other hand, I believe, if I look where the Alans are, have set up a kingdom where the Bastonians used to live. Anyway, we now make the attack on the city of Aquae Sectai, and we take it. Looking at the casualties, we didn't lose any full units, and the force of Codigeisel is going to move out. Indolf is going to be the man to occupy the city. And now we are immediately going to go to the city of Segusio and take that. The city has a nearly fully recovered garrison. We've got a damaged army, but it doesn't matter. We can still somehow win this battle. Probably losing a few units though. We only lose 1, which is I guess lucky for us. But now we are the owners of 2 cities. Not the city-state I thought that I will be forced to be. But now we have a growing domain, and we can begin something of a trade monopoly the minute the city of Genua falls to us. And currently I am just trying to rip off the marker, the Alamans, and it succeeds. With the Suabians, I do not want a treaty until I am able to take the city of the cities of Vienna and of Narbo. Narbo is currently just still a Roman style town that we will be hoping to take by force from the army of Lugios. Vienna is also undefended currently. Seems like Lugdunum is under siege. So we're going to recover, probably take a town, and move on from here. We do learn that we can assign a provincial governor, and Geiseric would not be worthy of that job. A man called Sisinand, though, is a dignitary, and that means he has more tax rates, or more money from taxes. And we're going to install him in Liguria while installing a man called Ildibad as the governor of Narb. And that's because he gets more wealth from agriculture. And both of these men are just going to set in the edicts of resettlement. While we are at it, we would like to take Vienna, and we would like to take Genoa. Both cities very valuable. And Genoa just a second ago being sacked. So, we could expand our domain into an undefended city and a city with a minor army. As we approach the Western Roman Empire's turn, we are hoping to see something happen. The Gepids take Genoa though, and that is an issue for us because Genoa is an important port city. We are also in the wake of a famine, meaning we are in dire need of money and food as well. And the main reason we are in a famine is because of the current situation in Liguria. Anyway, with the little bit that we were able to gain in terms of wealth, we prepare for an attack on Narbo, Narbo and Vienna. We are going to start a war now, or we would, if they weren't allies with Hispania and the Alans. Thing is, the Alans do like us more, I believe, and so they might not want to join the war. They do join the war though, and so does Hispania. But we will just take Vienna and Narbo, and hopefully we can get a peace treaty with all, with both parties, if not all three. And here we're just going to begin the construction of a force able to control the lands, and now with Narbo and Vienna under our control, we're going to sack the city like always and capture it. And now, just as it freezes again, our domain has doubled in size. You could say tripled even if you look at when it was established. And now the question is, with all of this land, will we be able to get a peace treaty? But sadly, no one is willing to get a peace treaty. That might be because of my current unreliability, which is annoying, as I thought I was reliable. And now we're surrounded on all sides by enemies, which is also annoying. Luckily though, we can begin on our plan of trade monopoly later on. Currently, we still can't because no one is willing to accept trade with us. Not even if it will make them loads of money. And so, once again, it's just praying for luck. the luck that we'll get, we will see in the next episode of Champions of the Vandal Seas.